Hey y'all, hello, and what is up? It is Achi here at Booking with Atia, and today, and over the next couple days, I have something exciting planned. We're doing a reading vlog. I have a tour stop coming up for, I think it's Here Are Voices Tours, I think. Well, not coming up. When this video comes out, this will be what it is. But basically, I'm on the tour for A Crown So Cursed by L.L. McKinney, which is the third book in the Nightmareverse series, and we have been waiting so long for this book. I don't even remember when the second book came out. I think it was like maybe 2016, 2017, 2018, or something like that. But I decided that since it's been so long, I'm actually going to do a reread of the first two books, which are A Blade So Black and A Dream So Dark, I think is the second one. I read them both physically a couple years ago, really enjoyed them. Like, I remember thoroughly liking them. So I decided that I would do a reread this time via the audiobook. I am about 20% through the audiobook for A Blaze So Black, and I'm really enjoying it. And I remember enjoying just how much L.L. McKinney is able to sprinkle in the retelling of Alice in Wonderland. Okay, so like I guess I should give you a synopsis. I'll give you a synopsis of the first book, which I have sitting here. Here's the dust jacket. All right. So it says, "This isn't the Wonderland you remember. The first time a nightmare came, Alice nearly lost her life. Now, with magic weapons and hardcore fighting skills, she battles these monstrous creatures in the dream realm known as Wonderland. Yet even warriors have curfews. Life in real-world Atlanta isn't always so simple. As Alice juggles an overprotective mom, a high-maintenance best friend, and school. Keeping the nightmares at bay is turning into a full-time job. When Alice's handsome and mysterious mentor is poisoned, she has to find the antidote by venturing deeper into Wonderland than she's ever gone before. And she'll need to use everything she's learned in both worlds to keep from losing her head, literally." So, yeah, the character of Alice is fun. There are a lot of moments that I've really been enjoying. As you can see, I tabbed it up quite a bit, my first read, and I've actually changed my tabbing method, so I don't use like this rainbow variation. I have more color options for tabs, and I match the tabs to the covers now. So I've actually created a new tabbing system for this book based on the cover, and I'm going to, over the course of the next couple of days, re-tab this with the new color system, and I'm going to do the same thing for book 2. So hopefully I can remember to film that so you guys can see that as well. But I'm excited. I think these reading vlogs on just like one specific book or one specific series are a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to re-experiencing A Blaze So Black, a Dream So Dark, is it called? Why can I never get that second book name right? But I'm looking forward to re-experiencing them with you all. Oh, I finished it. I literally devoured this in 2 days. That's how much I could not get enough of it. I forgot just how excellent the world building is. I had forgotten how masterfully she weaves in, she being the author, she weaves in the original Alice in Wonderland story and sprinkles it throughout. So I think I said earlier that it's not necessarily a retelling. It's not a retelling at all, honestly, because in this book they reference the first Alice. They reference the first human being to stumble into Wonderland, and that started this history of humans being able to come into Wonderland and have a special ability that people from Wonderland do not have. However, even though it is not a retelling, there are so many aspects of the original Alice in Wonderland story that are just like chef's kiss. Alice's mentor is named Addison Hatta. And Hatta's like partner at this pub is named Maddie. So the Mad Hatter is essentially split into two characters, and we deal with, and this is in the synopsis, that what I'm about to tell you, the whole, not the whole premise, but what kind of pushes our protagonist Alice to go deeper into Wonderland is the fact that her mentor Hatta is poisoned, and he's poisoned and the symptoms are fits of madness, right? She has a friend named Chess, short for Chester, Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. We have the twins. What are their names? Their nicknames are Dem and Dee. So Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Like, it's just, and it's so funny because you don't realize it until halfway like, for some of them, you don't realize right off the bat that these are direct callbacks to the original characters from the original story. And it's great. Alice has such a clear and distinct voice. She's really going through it. She is really trying to, she didn't even want to be a dream walker no more. She's like, I'm out. And then she gets pulled back in. She's trying to manage that with her best friends, because one of her best friends knows but the other one doesn't, and the one that does know is pretty demanding even with this knowledge of knowing. And then her mother is, you know, I don't want to say she's overprotective, but she's afraid for Alice's safety as a black girl in the world. And so, you know, there are times where Alice just kind of drops off the grid and her mom is like, you can't do that. So she's dealing with this tension between her and her mother, because her mother does not know that she is a dream walker, right? She has no idea about the Wonderland thing. And it was just great. I mean, I ended up, when I originally read this, ooh, when was that? Hold on a second. When did I originally read this? And that'll tell you when the book came out. Okay, so, oh, okay, it came out in 2020. That sounds like a lie. Me reading it in 2020 is a lie. It has to be, because I remember reading this while I was in college, and I did not read this during the pandemic. I know that for a fact. So this is probably, I know I read this while I was still using Goodreads as my main source of tracking, and I guess I just pulled the rating over from Goodreads but not the date. Blade So Black, because this did not come out. There we go. Okay, yeah, this came out in 2018, which tracks, and I believe I read it in 2018. February of 2020. God, February of 2020, right before my birthday. Oh, something's wrong. I say that because I really thought it was further. I really did, because I remember finishing book 2 and being like, oh, okay, I have like a year or so until the sequel, which it took forever to get. We got book 1 in 2018, book 2 probably in 2019, and we're just now about to get book 3 in 2023. And one of the people in the Be Too Weird book club brought up this fascinating occurrence where we had this push of black girl YA fantasy during like I want to say 2016 to 2018, right? So I'm talking Children of Blood and Bone, The Bells, A Blade So Black, and there's another one that's, I can't think of the fourth one, but it was just this push. And then we got the second book. We were promised at least 3 books for all of these. We got the second book, right? And then it was just radio silence for that third book. And now 3-4 years have passed, and we're just getting A Crown So Cursed from L.L. McKinney. It was said that the third Children of Blood and Bone book would be coming out this month, as in September. Where is it? Because I don't even think we have a title yet. And that book has been pushed several times. Actually, no. It wasn't this book. It was the second book where the date kept getting pushed. Legacy of Orisha. Where's this third book? Okay, I'm so sorry. We do have a title. Children of Anguish and Anarchy. We don't have a cover though. It's supposed to be coming out September 22nd, but we don't have a cover. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then The Bells, we're getting the third book, which, name of that one. And I really liked The Bells when I read it, and I read this one in 2018. Yeah, Reese is being weird. That's being weird, because I remember that I read The Bells, A Blade So Black, and Children of Blood and Bone, like right when they came out, because I was super excited. You know, it was black girls on covers, and it was obvious that we were the ones in the story. So I definitely did not read A Blade So Black in 2020. Maybe that's when I brought stuff over from Goodreads, but it's neither here nor there. And we're just now getting the third book in February. Wait, why does it say February 2023? It's out already? Did I miss that? Did I miss that release? Also, can we talk about these covers? Right? Let's talk about these covers. The first cover of The Bells, gorgeous, right? The second cover, even more gorgeous. Tell me why they went and redid the covers for the whole series. Just redid them. And it's not that these covers are ugly. It's not that at all. My issue, or my like, what really kind of annoys me is the fact that the first two books were obviously like, these were black girls, right? This was black girl magic at its peak. And why you take them off the cover? You could have redid the cover and made it more whatever this aesthetic is, right? Why did you have to go and take this very beautiful black girl with the makeup and the hair and serving us face? Why is she no longer on the cover? I don't know. That irked me, and it felt real UK cover. You know how so many books with us on the cover in the US, you look at the UK cover and there's just no sign that it is a colored person in that story, which is real suspect. It's real finicky. So apparently this book already came out. Oh, I want to read this. I don't want that cover though. So this is going to be a case of me, again, what I'm doing with The Blade So Black is going to be me rereading. Well, actually, I never read the second book. It's going to be me rereading the first book, reading the second book, and then going to the third book. Does the first book not have an audiobook? What is my library even saying right now? But yeah, really enjoyed it. I will be, well, at some point swapping out my tabs. I still haven't done that yet. I will be moving on to the second book, A Dream So Dark, probably tomorrow. This has considerably less tabs than this one. I don't know what that says. Oh, okay, because there's not as many tabs for world building, which makes sense because it's the second book, so we know pretty much what we need to know about the world. Okay, here is the audiobook for The Bells on Libra FM. Why is it not in my library? And I have to pay money with it? I can't use a credit? Why? Why not? So I have been listening to the audiobook for A Dream So Dark, really enjoying it, and there's already so much more that has happened to progress the plot at, I don't even know what percentage I'm at. Okay, I'm at 59%, and that's just with me listening today. And so already so much more, it feels at least that so much more has happened. I still maintain that LL McKinney can write a fight sequence. Like these fight sequences are just, this one is also dual POV. So our main character is still Alice, but we're following two other perspectives. And I forgot that happened. Like, I do not remember there being multiple POVs in the second book. That was just something that I just did not remember. I also realized that I remember less about this second book than I did the first book, which is so weird because chronologically I read the first book, well, first. But I'm enjoying it. I am looking forward to finishing this. I don't know if I'll do that today. I don't know. Will I do it today? We'll see. What I am going to do is either I'm going to continue listening to this while I transfer over the tabs to their new color, or I might do that too. But I think I'm going to listen because I do have a bit of a migraine trying to make an appearance. I did take something and it went away for a little bit, but I've been editing a lot today. Or not a lot, but well, actually no, I've been editing quite a bit today. I've also been playing my Switch as well. And so I do need a screen break as much as I want to watch, but those are the vibes. I'm also gonna get some dinner. Okay, this is what I'll do. I'll eat first, and as I'm eating, I'll watch book 2. And then after I eat, I'll go back to listening and tapping. That's the plan. Also, I have always loved how these covers looked on the shelves together. Not the covers, the spines. And I'm wondering, or I'm curious, if third book is going to have a white spine with black and red lettering. I feel like that's where we're headed. Because in the first one, we have a red spine, a white cover, and then the second one, we have a black spine with a red cover. Wait, did I say that right? We have the first one, we have a red spine and a white cover, and then the second one we have a black spine and a red cover. And I know that the cover of the third book is like this, not metallic, but like a dusty gray with like some hints of purple, and I feel like the spine might be white on that one. I have a feeling, because it would not make sense to have it purple, even though her jacket on the second one is purple. But that's like the first time purple is introduced. Yeah. This book comes out on September 19th, and this vlog is set to go up on September 21st, I think. So I will not have the finished copy in my hands by the time this vlog is done, because it's looking like it's going to be wrapped up much quicker than I anticipated. I have 7% left in A Dream So Dark. Let me see. Yeah, I have 51 minutes, and I'm listening to it on 2x speed, so I have 25 minutes roughly. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shower, and then as I do my post-shower routine, I'll finish up A Dream So Dark and give you my thoughts, because I have thoughts. I also today, because initially I was going to read A Crown So Cursed as an ebook because I have the e-arc, but I went on NetGalley for something else, and I saw that the audiobook is on NetGalley, and I requested it. And I'm hoping that, what's today, Wednesday? Yeah. I am hoping that tomorrow I get approved for it, so that way I can listen to it. That'd be so much fun. I'm really enjoying these audiobooks. They are very well done. The dual, well, I guess it's really 3 perspectives, but the 3 different perspectives we get in this one are also different, also distinct. But yeah, I'll give you thoughts after, in the next clip.
She pressed a white hand to her stomach, her chest heaving. The heart pulsed. The eye flickered. No. The bloody lady shook her head, her eyes wide.
Alright, it is September 18th, meaning that it is the release day for A Crown So Cursed. I wasn't approved, or rather they never got back to me on NetGalley as to whether or not I could have the e-audio. What is it? It's like an advanced listening copy, so the EALC, which is annoying to say. Anyways, so I used one of my Libro FM credits to download it. It is 13 and a half hours. I'm going to listen to it on, I don't actually know what speed I'm going to listen to it at. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to listen to it, and I should be done by tomorrow, honestly, if I just like hunker down. I'm going to bounce between that book and Alex Wise, which by the time this video is up, my reading vlog for Alex Wise versus the End of the World by Terry J. Benton Walker, I believe, will be up on my channel. So make sure, if you haven't seen that already, to go and check out that video as well. It is another reading vlog, book-specific reading vlog. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to play my Switch and begin listening to A Crown So Cursed, which I have waited. The second book came out in 2019. I've waited literally years, like at least over 2 years for this book, so let's hope it's good. Alright, I am 26% of the way through A Crown So Cursed, and so far, it's really good. The beginning was so creepy, and it's interesting how, not interesting, it is impressive how L.L. McKinney can write in this very like storybook, lush, dramatic fairy tale writing, but also switch into a more contemporary, urban, accessible way of writing. And it's clear who is speaking. And what's also cool is that this is again from multiple POVs. It's from the same 3 POVs that we got in A Dream So Dark. And their way of explaining or their way of talking is so distinct. You know when, and I mean, I'm of course listening to the audiobook, which has 3 different narrators, but even when you're reading it, the way that Alice talks and explains what's happening is so different from the way that Hada talks and explains what's happening, and it's so different from that third POV, which I'm not going to say because that is a spoiler. And I'm really enjoying it, and it moves so quickly, and it's, I don't know, like, at first I was under the impression that this was going to be a 4-book series, and then I read somewhere, I think it was Goodreads, that this is the last book, but there's a part of me that doesn't think it is, because there are certain things that are happening. What's up with this lighting? Okay, I think that's a little better, but there's certain things that are happening, and I don't know, it doesn't feel like a final book. It really doesn't. Let me look up. I'm gonna go to McKinney's Instagram. And also, because the covers, and I'll put them right here in that order. The covers are the suits to like cards, right? So I would think that we would get a book for each suit. And so far we've only gotten the heart. Yeah, see, okay, on her Instagram it just said don't miss the next installment. Oh, okay, wait. If you haven't pre-ordered A Crown So Cursed, now's your chance to get 25%. Let me screenshot this so you guys can also see it. Okay. It says, if you haven't pre-ordered A Crown So Cursed, now's your chance to get 25% off and be there day 1 when we finally get to the end of the journey. And then she says, well, this one in particular. So are we getting more books in this world? That's so vague. Like, okay, so we have the only suit we don't have is the diamond. I'm looking at all 3 of the covers we have so far. Isn't the Queen of Diamonds like in Alice in Wonderland? The original story. So this is the last one in this trilogy. All right, so I guess this is the last book, which is so interesting. I have theories about this being the last book, about where it could go. I feel like we're going to get, after A Crown So Cursed, I feel like, and I hope, we're getting another trilogy that follows another bigger bad. And I hope it follows the same character. I really do. I hope it follows the same characters. I love Alice. Because honestly, if Cassandra Clare can have, 16 books in the same damn world, why can't LL McKinney? Hello. You are getting Bonnet Booking It with Atia. But I am 70% of the way through A Crown So Cursed. Libro FM tells me that I have 2 hours and 23 minutes. I don't know how this is going to be the last book in this trilogy. Like, some major questions are going to have to be answered in the next 30% of this book, which I guess is totally possible. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'm still enjoying it. At this current moment, I think book 2 is my favorite of the 3, which is so weird because usually a book 2 in a trilogy is not the worst one, but it's not as good as either book 1 or book 3. And A Crown So Cursed is good. It definitely expands the world a little bit. You are definitely getting more of that integrated retelling of the original Alice in Wonderland story, but smartly. And there was a twist that happened that I did not see coming. Or rather a reveal that I did not see coming at all. So I am working on some Instagram content things as I listen to A Crown So Cursed, and I will check in again either, I don't know, maybe at like the 85% mark or at the end. We shall see. So I just finished it, right? It was good. It was good. You can tell that this was supposed to be a 4-book series because there are so many things that were just thrown in at the end that were revealed that weren't actually talked about, that weren't concluded. And it's really frustrating that this keeps happening because it happened with the blood trials as well. That was supposed to be a trilogy and they sliced it and made a duology. And I have not read the second book, but according to reviews, you can tell that it was a 3-book series stuffed into 2. And this feels like a 4-book series stuffed into 1. There was so much that was introduced in the 2nd book, A Dream So Dark. Some of that is resolved in book 3, A Crown So Cursed, right? So not all of it is resolved. And then you have other new things that are introduced in A Crown So Cursed that are then also not resolved. And the author, L.L. McKinney, has said, when she was like promoting the 3rd book, she said that, you know, this is the final book in the trilogy, but she has so many ideas about past events and new characters. No, we don't need that, man. We don't need that right now. What I need is another trilogy with these characters. So much is unresolved. So much is unresolved. I ended up giving it 4 stars, but that feels wrong the more that I talk about it. And it gets 4 stars at this current moment because the character work is excellent. The character work has been impeccable this entire series. The world building is incredible and impeccable. The plot, for the most part, up until towards the end when we're just thrown a bunch of new information, the plot is pretty, not standard, the plot is steady. You want to know what's happening. I don't know. I gave it 4 stars. I did. But I gotta think on that. I really gotta think on that because it felt rushed. It felt so rushed. The end, which is so weird because one of the things I appreciated about the first 2 books and about most of the 3rd book is the pacing is done right. You get good pacing. It's action-packed, but it's not overwhelming. And for the first 2 books, when you got to the end of those first 2 books, you're like, okay, the major problem has been solved and we have some things that need to be resolved, but I know that it's going to be resolved in the next book. We get this 3rd book, bunch of unresolved stuff introduced at the end, barely talked about, and this is the final book in the trilogy. Make it make sense. That literally makes no sense. Yeah, it's a 4 star. It's like a low 4 stars. It's a low 4 stars. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 4 stars. I'm gonna keep it 4 stars because what it does well, it does really well, and I'm not going to hold the fact that it should be a 4-book series against it because I have a feeling that it was going to be a 4-book series. I remember looking it up years ago, like, oh, book 3 and book 4. So I have a feeling that it was supposed to be a 4-book series and it got sliced down to 3 books. And so everything and all the questions and all the unanswered plot points had to be stuffed into book 3 and wrapped up in a nice little bow. But yeah, so if I had to rank them in terms of my like most enjoyed to least enjoyed, book 2, A Dream So Dark, is definitely my favorite out of the 3. And then book 1, A Blade So Black, would come next, and then we have A Crown So Cursed. But thank you so much for watching another reading vlog. Make sure to like and comment down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I release a new video. Feel free to share my videos with the world. All of my socials are down below, including my Pango Books storefront where you can buy used books in great condition for great prices. You can tip me via Kofi if you want to. You can also join my Patreon. All of that is linked down below, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully without a bonnet. Bye.
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm in the sky.